Greetings, Patrick here from Dollar Tree Theater, the Voters Edition. It's also the 4th of July. It also is raining cats and dogs outside. We went from having no rain at all forecast to suddenly we got a monsoon blowing outside. So, what perfect weather than to go and watch our latest Dollar Theater, Dollar Theater Voters Edition, which was unduly influenced by our good friend, Hey Internet, it's Eric, um, who wanted everybody to vote for this movie, and by vote, one vote, um, the Cheetah and I are going to be covering The Ghost of Mars. John Carpenter's Ghost of Mars, starring Natasha, Henstridge, Ice Cube, Jason Statham, Pam Grier. Great cast. Holy shit! I forgot that Robert Carradine was in this movie, and I also forgot that Joanna Cassidy was in this movie. I have not seen this since I saw it at the theater. I did not like this movie when I watched it. I just and well, I have to. I still didn't like it today. I like the cast, but wow, this is. I don't even know where to begin. Um, I, it is more. I did notice one thing about this movie, though. It did seem more like a western than I remembered it. I don't remember seeing it as a western, but watching this now, I do. I could definitely see how this could. And when I was poking around, I was, talk to me about Ghost of Mars. They came up there and they said this is a weird western, which was a combination of two genres. And in this case, it would be horror. It would be horror. Actually, it could even be supernatural. Supernatural as well as science fiction. Um, but the problem is, despite having some great action set pieces, there's some things that just go all wrong in this movie, all wrong, including those damn those set designs. Man, I remember how bad they were, and they're still just as bad. The interior and production design, the interiors, man, it looks like an interiors. Um, the special effects, like for the train and for the town, it's 2001, not 1982. I expected that from 1982. Look, there's a reason why they look like that in Escape from New York. But in 2001, I mean, and basically he was it seemed like John Carpenter was basically working with the same special effects he had back then in '82. All right, so Ghost of Mars is basically a sci-fi western film about a group of cops that are going. They're on Mars, and they're going to this place, bright shining angel or some crap like that, bright angel, and they're going to be going to Shining Canyon, it didn't really even matter to me. Shining Canyon. They're going to go pick up a prisoner who's been wreaking havoc in the area. One James Desolation Williams, who is played by Ice Cube. Um, they roll up in this train, and they soon come out and notice that there's nobody in the town. It's supposed to be a busy mining town, and there ain't nobody around. Uh, as they start walking the town on Mars, they're looking around, and then they start seeing some movement. Uh, and there's only six of them, so the commander decides to do a tactical division. She's going to take one person, and then she's going to give Melanie, who is Melanie Ballard, who is who's played by Natasha Henstridge. She's going to take the other two rookies and take them inside and look for people. Well, they find out that the town has been overrun by all these zombies or possessed type. This has led to the death of Commander Braddock, played by Pam Grier, and and Jason Statham's character Butler, Jericho Butler. He sees it and goes down there and basically tells Ballard that shit's coming their way. They do find Desolation Williams. He is in a jail cell, and but hardly anybody else is. And the people who are, we soon find out that some sort of weird fungus type deal has come in and inhabits a human being. And they think that they're the ghosts of the people who lived on Mars. They were Martians beforehand, and then this is their defense for the planet. And what they do is some sort of fungus goes inside of a human, and think of it as a slower version of rage virus from 28 days later. That's what you get. They breathe into it. They turn angry and aggressive and murderous, and then they just start chopping at each other. And probably with a slight more intelligence. They're supposed to be being led by this one guy. He sort of reminded me of the guy from Cyborg, Fender, I think his name was. He sort of reminds me of that guy. That's what that guy reminds me of. Ballard, being the leading officer in charge, she says, we need Williams. We need Williams. Butler comes back with 3 other guys. They're trying to build up their forces a little bit because they don't know. They think there's supposed to be about 200 miners in there that are possessed. So they're trying to get as many people as they can. They deputize 3 more other people. They discovered Dr. Whitlock. She's one of the science officers she's the officer for Shining Canyon. It just has a bunch of firefights throughout. And that's the other thing that really got me. The small group is packed to the gills with armor. I mean, they have guns, they have ammunition. Yes, they're facing 200, but they have come up with other explosive devices and a lot of ammo and close quarters fighting. Honest to heaven, they should have seen a drop in the people who they're facing. They were tearing them up. I mean, at the rate of fire that the good guys were firing, 200 should have been pretty much wiped out. But they never did. They always stayed constant at 200. So you see people dying, but they weren't dying. They were just like, are you out of frame? Okay, now get up there and get back into it because you're going to go do it again. And it made the movie really distracting in the point, because you really want to give these guys an opportunity to fight their way out, and seeing that the force against them is getting smaller and smaller, gives them some hope. But man, oh man, every single time they were fighting, it seemed like you could spot the same guy that died 10 minutes ago. There he is again. There's it was distracting. It was distracting. And as far as, John Carpenter said that he said he wanted to make this more of a comedy, but he says maybe I didn't do a good job enough to do so. I should have made it more broad, more comedic, so people could see it. Well, you know what, John, you did in one respect, and that is, I can't tell you how many times where the good guys had to surrender their guns to the bad guys, then the bad guys had to surrender the guns back to the good guys, and back and forth. Drop the gun. Okay, well, I dropped my gun. Now you drop yours. It looked like a skit out of The Naked Gun, right? It just wasn't good. It just wasn't good. Well, anyway, they come with an idea. As they get whittled down, all the other officers end up getting killed. Butler gets killed. The 2 rookies get killed. Basically, the only 2 people left, the entire good guy bunch, is just Desolation Williams and Lieutenant Ballard. That's it. Everybody else buys the farm. They do try a Hail Mary, though, in putting together a thermonuclear bomb into this corridor where all these ghosts have supposedly been hiding or sleeping or doing whatever ghosts of Mars do. So they attempt to blow that up and blow up the tunnel where they came from. Hopefully that incinerates them. Well, it doesn't. Um, and so, toward the end of the movie, Lieutenant Ballard has given her action report to look like a council meeting, and then she's released, going back to her quarters, and then all hell hits loose in the big city, and as she's wondering what to do, she's getting dressed, and all of a sudden here comes Desolation Williams, comes straight to where she's at, and says, "Let's go. The tide is rising. The tide is rising, and the water's rising, or whatever it was." And so, yeah. Okay, so there are some good things about Ghost of Mars. Okay, I still didn't like it. Let's get off. But I do want to say there are some things that I did like. I did like the cast. I thought the cast was really good. Jason Statham was. It was weird seeing Jason Statham again with actual hair on his head. Uh, he was already going bald. He was already balding at that point in his career, but he still has some fur in his head, so that was good. Bummed out. I mean, it was great seeing Pam Grier in an action movie. Clea Duvall was in this. And the cast is great. I mean, John Carpenter, he did a great job casting wise. But he gave the bad guys absolutely zero personality, zero. Like these Martians, it's like there was no negotiations. There's no, we don't want you here. There's just all they were is just like I said. They're 28 days later rage cases, and that got really boring really quick. All the firefights, it's like there's no point to it. It's just like, okay, yeah, here we go again. And what does it matter if you shot this guy? He's only going to come back, and that's not intentional. That's not intentional. It wasn't like they were invulnerable. They just get up and keep going. You have to shoot them in the head or anything like that. No, they were dead. They were, they were getting blown to shit. But then they have to keep fighting the same. They keep fighting the same 200. There was a little bit of comedy in it. I mean, Jason Statham was trying to get with Ballard. He kept on making all these comments toward her, and right toward the end, it looked like maybe all that had worked out for him, because she started smooching him, and lo and behold, but then the bad guys came, and so yeah, he went out there and he died on the hill, so to speak. The makeup was great, as far as the special effects, special effects, they were great. K&B, that was, yeah, we couldn't argue with that. But the set design itself was cheesy looking. The train looked terrible. The town looked terrible. Even though they did shoot on location in New Mexico, like I said, the exteriors were fine, but the interiors were just not very good. Not very good. I mean, and it's really weird is that Ice Cube is featured in this movie, but he really doesn't do anything for the first, 35, 45 minutes of the movie. And that was a little strange, too, considering that they were actually going to switch. They actually were going to have Jason Statham play Desolation Williams, but they switched him out with Ice Cube because producers felt like they needed star power. And by that time, Ice Cube had already done Boys in the Hood, Anaconda, Friday. I think Friday had come out before that. So he had already built up his name. So that's what they used for that. But originally it was going to be Jason Statham. I like the idea of the weird Western too. That was cool. And I poked around at that. And yeah, that was interesting. There have been a lot of weird westerns out there, like movies like Ghost Rider, supernatural plus a western, aliens and cowboys. One movie I remember, Ghost Town from the '88. Oh God, I remember seeing that at the Dollar Theater. Just that sort of thing. I mean, it's just those types of movies. Firefly is called a Western in space. That sort of thing. So, the Battlestar Galactica, same thing. There they are. There's a wagon train, and they're being chased by Indians and stuff like that. You know, the Cylons. So there is a lot of interesting combinations for westerns and for science fiction and what have you. Um, but this one just didn't work. And what was really surprising about this too, when I saw the credits roll, it said Screen Gems, and mostly that means it's a lower budget film, between $10 to $12 million. But that's not the case with Ghost of Mars. John Carpenter got a $28 million budget. I do believe that was more than twice of what he got from The Thing. I think The Thing he only got $15 million. And so he got $28 million to do the Ghost of Mars, which is a horrible horrible letdown. The movie only made $14 million back. And that ended John Carpenter was quiet for the next 9-10 years before he did The Ward. This movie got really critically roasted, as far as the critics go. Not only did the public not want to see it, but the critics were not very nice to it at all. Very disappointed in John Carpenter's choices. Do I think John Carpenter meant to make a comedy? No, I don't think so at all. I don't. When he said I should have made this more, I don't think that was ever your intention. Your intention was supposed to make an action adventure movie, and you did, but it just wasn't a very good one. It just didn't work. It just didn't work. But it has gained popularity throughout the years. Now, do I think it's a cult favorite, a cult classic? No, I don't hardly see anybody talk with any sort of respect for Ghost of Mars. I just have not seen that. Whereas we have seen lately, the last year or so, it seems like a hell of a lot more people have really come and embraced a movie like, Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. That has actually gained in popularity. Whereas before, people were always hanging on it, but it does seem like it has gained a lot of popularity. This movie from the master of, John Williams, master of Halloween and Creepshow and whatnot, this is not. I don't really see too many people talk about Ghost of Mars, and I think it's probably justified, though Natasha Henstridge looked really cute in this. All right, that is it. That's the movie you voted for. Personally, I would have voted for State of the Union myself. That's who I would have voted for. But this is a multi-pack, so it will return, and you'll have another crack to pick from one of these two movies. All right, that's it. If you're new to the channel, hit the sub button, drop a comment down below, and we'll see you for the next one. Peace.